Horticulture, the science and art of growing fruits, vegetables, flowers, or ornamental plants. I am a professor of horticultural science at the University of Minnesota. I teach students about plants. Specifically, I teach students about these plants. Here's how we end up teaching horticulture most of the time. And here's how we would like to teach horticulture most of the time. In Minnesota, most of the academic year is not suitable for learning about plants while outside, and even if an instructor wants to teach outside, success is dependent on weather on any given day. A couple of years ago, I started meeting with some colleagues to start thinking about solutions to this problem. The group that assembled shared a common interest in teaching with technology, so we began brainstorming and coming up with potential solutions. Soon, the idea of using augmented reality as a teaching tool was brought up. Even if it didn't work, at least it sounded neat. We figured we could use technology to allow students to learn about plants on their own schedules in a way that allowed them to interact with plants in the landscape. This type of learning is referred to as situated learning. Here is a picture of our display and trial garden. Students often are taken here during laboratory sessions to see various plants. A simple version of augmented reality would allow students to see markers overlaid on an image or map on their mobile device. These markers could help guide a student through the garden and allow them to obtain more information related to each marker. Our ultimate vision included image recognition of plants by mobile devices. There are some apps that began to approach this, such as LeafSnap, which allows users to identify tree species by taking a picture of leaves. However, it became clear early on that a less sophisticated approach would be needed given the current state of the technology. After some searching, we finally found a platform that would suit our needs. Eris Games was developed by a team at the University of Wisconsin. Eris is an open source platform that allows for both the creation and playing of mobile games, tours, and interactive stories. The only major drawback to Eris was that it could only be used on iOS devices. If we could deal with that issue, we figured that we could use this tool to teach horticulture. The next step was working out the technology. We were able to deal with the problem of device access when we were awarded funding by the United States Department of Agriculture to support the project. Great. All I needed to do was buy a bunch of iPads, set up some sort of checkout program, and we would be all set. And then the questions started rolling in. Who will be in charge of checkout? What kind of iPads? How big? What about a warranty? Are you going to buy cases? How will we keep these secure? What if one breaks? How will they be stored? How will they be updated? How long can they be checked out? Dealing with each of these questions took a lot of my time, but by the beginning of fall semester, we were ready to roll out the use of Eris in my course, which is a small enrollment turfgrass science course, and also in a large enrollment introductory horticulture course of over 100 students. In one of the experiences developed for my course, students were led through a landscape and were asked to enter their observations about various grasses commonly used in Minnesota landscapes. This allowed the students to better understand the characteristics of these grasses prior to learning about them in the course. Soon after the Eris game started, there were several complications. Mine didn't work. I just did mine inside. I can't log into Eris. What if I didn't finish? I couldn't get a good signal. I'm scared to check out something as expensive as an iPad. I dropped my iPad on Falwell Avenue. Dealing with each of these complications took some more time and lots of help from university staff, especially from the IT support in our college. But even with all of these complications, many students enjoyed the augmented reality learning experience. When we surveyed students, most of the problems they experienced were technical, things we should be able to fix in future semesters. In the larger course, we used Eris a second time in a way designed to lessen the risk of connectivity issues. Students responded more positively to this experience, and we will soon determine if the game improves student learning. Based on our preliminary results, there is promise in using augmented reality to teach horticulture. One day, learning about the trees and plants you walk by every day may be as easy as holding up your phone.